I'm now dressed up as Rudolph.
It was either the antlers or Santa going down the chimney.
Just a quick disclaimer, the content presented in this podcast is based on real events and may contain graphic descriptions of violence, crime scenes and other disturbing material. Listener discretion is advised. This episode is sponsored by Think Forensic.
Think Forensic are a one-stop shop for all things forensic science and crime solving. They hold experience days, as well as corporate events, team building events, and general education for primary school right the way up to university level, as well as other events and consultancy. There's also a shop where you can get your hands on all things crime solving, from evidence gathering to packaging and collecting evidence, as well as other forensic science equipment.
For more information or to book on an experience day, please visit the website.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our special Christmas edition of Grave Secrets. We're your hosts. I'm Beth.
I'm Annie, and it is our last episode of season 1 today. And if you are listening to us and you can hear some jingling, it's because I've got stupid reindeer ears on that Beth's made me put on because I'm not very much in the Christmas spirit. So yeah, I'm now dressed up as Rudolph.
It was either the antlers or Santa going down the chimney.
I don't get that though. Is Santa upside down? So is your head of the chimney?
I assume so. Let's just do it for a little second.
Let's have a look at these ones. They look absolutely ridiculous. I prefer these ones. Yeah. So Beth's got little, Beth's got little parcels,
presents
on a headband
with some fluff, with some red fluff. Which these are my classy nice ones.
Yeah.
This is the ridiculous novelty one.
Yeah.
And then you've got the nice ones.
I said to Beth, we should wear like Christmas hats or something, and Beth was like, I've got loads, I'll bring them.
I was like, don't worry, I have a selection.
Don't worry, I have them all. So yeah, I'm a little reindeer today. I'll probably take them off if they keep jingling though, just so they don't mess around with the
sound. Any excuse.
With the sound. No, I'll keep them on for a bit.
Okay.
If that's what you want, Beth, I'll keep them on.
And I was going to do more of this is pretty like festive. I feel a bit like a tree.
Yeah, I was going to say you look like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. But I was going to do full sparkles, but I didn't know whether that was too bright for the lights. I didn't know whether we'd be reflecting all over the shop. Because behind the scenes, we do have a lot of lighting.
Lights.
No!
Let me go and do them.
Okay. So just for context, we've had a panic there because we've been so chilled about this episode because we haven't had to revise anything, that if the spotlights of this room are on, we do not look good.
We look an odd colour, don't we?
Yeah. There was one episode that we got all the way through. Annie was editing it and she messaged me. She was like, Beth, Mayday. She was like, you look, what did you do?
So Beth had got some sort of lipstick on, and under these like yellowy spotlights, it looked like you'd got like a deep purple on, but you were wearing something like
ghost white.
Yeah, you were really, really white with purple lipstick on, and then your outfit was like, I know you like to clash sometimes, but it was odd. And I was looking at it thinking, Beth didn't wear that on the podcast. And all the colours were off. Like, I was such an odd colour.
Yeah.
And then just now we've noticed the spotlights were on. And when we were talking about lights, and we both went, lights.
Got to be off.
So we haven't actually got anything planned for this episode other than to come on and talk to you about... We're just having a bit of a roundup, aren't we, really, of everything that we've done on the podcast, what we've liked, a few of our stats that I've got for us to see how many places we've reached, and what we've liked about the whole, what's it called, season.
Yes, because this will be episode 35. So we have been at it for a while now. We started in April.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot. We've talked about a lot of different topics. We've covered a lot of cases. We've done the odd episode where it's been eyes and ears, and we've talked about things that we've been watching or listening to or reading that is true crime related. And they tend to be more casual, don't they?
Yeah.
But even so, they're still very heavily kind of planned in terms of who's going to talk about what.
Yeah, we know our own like sections sort of thing, don't we?
Yeah.
And then like we've said before with the case studies, we do a lot of research on those. So I'd say that this time in front of the camera is probably only about 20% of what we actually do, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then we've got the prep to it, which takes hours, doesn't it? Reading, watching, anything we can, getting interviews. And then we have you doing the artwork, we have me doing the editing, and coming to the studio and just taking time out to come and film as well. I feel like this bit is such a small part and the easiest bit.
Fun fact, my mum and dad have just got Sky now, so any documentaries that I need to watch that I couldn't have previously, I can now. I was like, oh, you'll have me at yours more often.
Yeah, because you'd always say, didn't you, what's this one on? And I say, send you a link and say, I think this is on Sky. And you were like, for God's sake, I'll go and find it on YouTube somewhere.
Or I'll find someone that'll let me watch it with them.
Someone to let you into their house to watch true crime.
I have done that before with and then I've been like, no, I can't ask a date if I can go and watch a murder documentary. It'd be all right if I didn't have to make such comprehensive notes. Yeah. Like if it was literally just a case of I need to have watched it.
You could watch it with them.
Then it'd be okay. But can you imagine me sat with my laptop like...
Yeah, and you know what I do as well?
Just rewind that bit, please.
That's what I do. I was going to say, sometimes when people have said a date, and I'm like, oh, I didn't quite get that date, and I rewind it back again. Yeah. And Jay's sometimes sat with me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, right, I need to rewind again because I've just... And then he talks to me and I'm like, no, now I've lost my place where I am. So it's not something you can just do as simply as that.
No. And I also have got into the habit, just because I like to make things more difficult for myself. Not only do I write everything down comprehensively, which really isn't necessary, but it makes me feel like I've actually got it in my head. I know I could do it without, but and it's now one of those habit things, habitual. But the other thing that I do is then whatever I'm watching, I watch twice.
Yeah. What, to double check?
Just so I watch it the first time and I don't make any notes. Yeah. Or I might make the odd note. And then the second time is when I do my whole comprehensive list of notes. So it does take, obviously, forever because I'm doing everything twice.
And to be fair, we do sometimes get into these episodes and I'll say something or Beth will say something and then we'll go, oh, stop. I've got different down for this. And then we have to go back and check it, don't we? And see which one of us is. It's normally we've got like a date muddled up or something like that. Yeah, because
I'm not good at numbers and dates and things anyway. And we obviously don't want to get it wrong. So it's one of those where we're both then questioning ourselves because we want to be sure.
So we're there Googling it in the middle of an episode, like what are we actually doing? And we have had quite a few funny technical difficulties that I wish we would have caught our reactions to on camera at the time. So there was times where I'd forgot to press record on the camera and then we'd started recording. Do you remember? And then
the most nerve-wracking one for me was back in the early days. I think it's like episode 12 when we interviewed Linda.
It was episode 3.
Oh, was it?
I swear it was episode 3 because I looked at this the other day and thought, oh my God, we got a guest on that early when we weren't very technical. Yeah. Like, because now I come in now and I know what to do, but back then I was winging it.
Yeah,
I was winging it.
This makes sense then that it was only episode 3 because the most stressed I think I've ever been with you was when we filmed the whole interview with Linda. It was amazing. It went really well. And then we got to the end, Linda went and I went, right, let's just play a little bit back just to check that it sounds okay. Because again, we were sharing a mic and it's the first time we shared a mic. So she's like, right, yeah, okay, let's play it. She started playing it, no sound. And then Annie, you could just see the panic on your face.
I was so scared at this point.
She was like, no, honestly, she was like, we've lost it. She's like, either it's not been recording the whole time or something's gone wrong. But there was basically no audio on one of the microphones. And I was like, it's fine. Don't worry. We can always, I'm sure she'd come back. But I was just thinking, you can't I was nearly crying. Like such a good conversation.
We'd had a really good interview as well, didn't we?
Yeah. And so I was trying to play it cool, but I don't have a clue how to fix it. Like I couldn't have helped.
I was just hearing silence looking like I have no idea where to start with this and I don't know what to do and I've messed it up and oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah. But in the end, it was absolutely fine. You have heard the original interview if you've listened to that episode because it was just something was plugged in that shouldn't have been.
I'd still got I'd got the audio interface plugged in and you can't listen to the playback through the computer while that's plugged in because it's plugged into the sound port, which obviously makes sense. But when you don't know what you're doing, it is hard.
And as soon as you panic, you don't think rationally, do you? So
No. So we did get the
so that
Linda
was a
episode.
stressful
But I was actually listening to one of my favourite podcasts, nothing to do with true crime related, is the Shits and Gigs.
Yeah.
And on theirs the other day, they put a disclaimer in at the beginning, and it said the audio in this is going to sound different because we've had to use the camera audio because there was a fault with the mics, and I don't think they realised that there was the microphone fault until the editing process. And they actually have an editor, and they said it were really good content, so we want to put it out for you. And obviously I still listened to it, like you could tell that the sound was off, but I did still listen to it, and it was a really good episode. And I just thought, they are huge. They've been doing this for 4 years. They have their own editing team, they have their own producers,
They go on tour and everything, don't they?
They go on tour, and it does happen.
Yeah, it's just
like, if it happened to us, it's not that much of a big deal. It does happen to these big podcasters, and hopefully one day that might be us.
Yeah, I know.
Like, well, not losing the audio.
No.
That might be us, as in like as big as them sort of thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But that brings me on to when I had the meltdown about us missing an episode because I was ill. I was just so paranoid that everything was gonna. But then I thought, it's not the end of the world, is it? These things happen.
No, because we've only missed one episode, haven't we? And bearing in mind, this is not our full-time job or anything like that. So we do everything in our spare time, like the researching, the editing, the artwork, the filming is all usually on when we've got a couple of hours free on our days off, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think to just miss one episode, I don't think we've done bad at all.
No.
Out of 30,
Out of 35.
35.
Yeah.
Is it 35?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we've smashed this season.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that like people are now getting to know us a bit more and getting involved with stuff we post. So, you know, like requesting the case studies.
Cases.
Because you know how much we were all hassling you to start with, going, please request something for us. And it's because we want to do stuff what you want to listen to.
Yeah.
So when we got our first request in, it was like, oh my God, someone's actually listened and requested. Like, do people actually listen?
It still baffles me. Like, obviously people do still listen. If we had like 2 listeners, as much as it'd be lovely, you know, we'd have had to have had a rethink.
Yeah.
But it does still baffle me that we do just have people listening. Like, sometimes I'll get a text message from someone like, oh, I've found this one super interesting, or it'll be a clip of me looking stupid.
Yeah.
Like they've frozen my face or something. But I'm like, oh, what? Like, for you to have referenced that means you're actually watching or listening to it.
Yeah.
Which is just mad. It's really cool.
And you know what was the weirdest thing? When I came to your birthday party, and obviously you're introducing me to everyone, and I'm like trying to remember people's names, remembering who people are, and then you're like, oh yeah, and you already know Annie because you've heard her and saw, and I was like, oh my God, I never thought about that before I came. Like, people had seen me already on YouTube or like Insta or TikTok or something, or at least heard my voice. So when I was talking, I thought, oh my God, like, people have heard me.
It matches up to the real life
people have heard me before. And like the girls in the gym will say to me, oh, what's the episode for tomorrow? And sometimes it catches me off guard because you're like, oh my God, people do actually listen to us. Like, you forget.
It's very cool, and we're very appreciative. It's like, it is just a bit mad.
Yeah.
Quite a lot mad, really. I tell you what I am worried about, though, for season 2, because we are.
Oh God, don't worry me about this already.
No, it's not. It's not a real
right,
worry.
Okay.
And I am gonna. You're gonna have to take them off.
The jingling, aren't they?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Is it annoying you?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, as much as I'd love to see you in reindeer antlers the whole time.
I forgot I'd got them on then, but as soon as I start moving around, this is why we said Beth couldn't wear the reindeer antlers, because she moves around too much and she'd be jingling all over the place.
Whenever I'm trying to cut clips, you know, for like the cover photos, it's so easy with you because you just look smiley and gorgeous and like hardly move around, and literally from frame to frame, I'm like.
You have some good facial expressions.
Yeah, my facial expressions are ridiculous.
But I ain't got the facial expressions because I've had loads of Botox.
Maybe I just need a little bit.
So that's why my face is frozen, because I'm like, I'm really shocked and surprised by this.
Oh my God.
And my eyebrows don't move.
I cannot believe it.
My eyebrows don't move. So that's why it's like that with me.
My big concern for season 2 is that I'm running out of outfits.
Ooh,
I mean, I'm not. That's a complete lie, because I've got so many clothes. I'm running out of probably podcast appropriate clothing.
Okay.
Like, I've got a lot of other outfits. But again, a lot of mine, bright colours, flowery, happy, and sometimes, like, as much as everyone probably knows what I'm like now, having listened to it or watched it.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little bit too flowery and happy for some of the content that we're talking about. Like, there's one dress, and every week when I'm not sure what to wear, I like I'm like, oh, shall I wear that? Because it's collared, so it's quite like nice, but then it is just bright and floral, and I'm just think, oh, is it just a bit too happy to wear?
No, I don't think so.
But then maybe that's the only happy bit in some of the...
Because I was looking back at what we've worn and our outfits on the episodes, and even like in the summer we were wearing like little summer dresses and stuff like that. So I suppose, I mean, the only ones I've toned it down, I don't wear anything. This is the brightest as I go. Is when we did the interview with Alison.
Yes.
Just because of the theme and what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the interview with Linda, and that was just because when you've got someone else there, you don't know what they're going to be wearing. And I remember for the Linda episode as well, so I'd spoke to Linda about coming on, and when she got here, she was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I put my makeup on because you didn't tell me we were on camera. And I was like, oh shit. So we were talking about our outfits that we're wearing, but it's because we film. Obviously, we have the audio for the podcast.
Yes.
We do the YouTube if you want to actually sit and watch us. And then we do the short clips.
Yeah.
So it was something that not even crossed my mind because we'd spoke about a podcast. And then she was like...
I've not even thought about it. Yeah.
And I thought, oh God, like how horrible. Because if I'd have turned up somewhere with no makeup thinking and then they put me all over YouTube, I'd have been, And she took that really well, to be fair. Thank God. But like I said, third episode.
Yeah, it's true. To be fair, we were quite organised. I sent her a whole help sheet of how to get to the venue and stuff.
And we planned out our questions for her, didn't we?
Yeah.
We asked
and we sent her them in advance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we've got it. I think we've got it together. We run quite a professional ship, I would say.
Yeah, I think we are. We're never like last minute blagging something like this, are we? Because, I mean, we wing everything else in life. But I think with something, when we're talking about things as serious as these, we do really care about the victims, and we want all of our episodes to be victim focused, and I think that does come across, doesn't it, in our episodes. We don't want it to be I don't know what the word is, like I know everyone's interested in true crime on the TV, and it's all very offender focused, and but it's not really for the entertainment purposes for the offender. We like it to be based around the victim.
Yeah, I know, because I struggle with artwork sometimes and like titles for podcasts.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, we need views in order to make this feasible.
Yeah.
But you're going to get more views if you use a tagline of something awful or like an offender serial killer's nickname kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we want to focus on that as much as possible. We want to focus on the victims.
Unfortunately,
so it's a real double-edged sword.
People don't know the crimes based on the victim's name. It's always based on the offender's name. So we've had like the crossbow cannibal, and you hate having to call an episode the crossbow cannibal. But when I was searching for like the research on it, that is what I typed in, the crossbow cannibal. So it's like, that's how people do find out about these things.
So it is tricky, and I think obviously because of what we're covering, it's difficult, and we just are so cautious. I think we are very cautious in everything that we cover. So there's probably times that we're a bit overcautious, but I would much rather be that way around than not. Like, we've got in contact with some of the victims' families to try and make sure that they're happy with stuff. We put links into everything where we can. If there's anything that you think we could do more of in season 2, then absolutely tell us, because we are very much like open to feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I think I've probably referenced it at some point, but like my sisters said we should go more in chronological order, so we've tried.
So we did, we changed it.
We've tried to do that for the most part in certain cases. There's definitely things that we've tried to change and work on. But it's just amazing that we've had people recommend cases. I've had a couple of people and mates that have recognised like how much work we're putting in, and they've suggested topics for us to cover on discussing the evidence episodes.
Yeah.
Topics that would be interesting for us to cover. I've also got to give a shout out to one of my best mates because she was fuming. She was like, "You've referenced other friends in you," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, you never give me feedback." So there you
I hope
go.
it's all
You got
good.
your shout out.
You didn't say a name.
Oh, okay, Lils. Hi, Lils.
She nearly didn't give you that then.
I didn't know whether
here.
she just wanted like a vague shout out or a real one. But she's got it
Apologies
now.
if you didn't want your name.
She's got it
Exposing
now.
everyone here.
And while we're on, you know, like we're so famous, so we're doing shout outs to people like they'll care. But I do want to say a little hello to the coolest guy that we met at a college, and he's just been so lovely. I couldn't believe it because again, we went. It was down south. We went to a college. We were there all day. So you have us in your ears for maybe an hour at a time. Imagine that all day with me shouting, "Right, are we listening?" 10 while 4.
And me just rolling my eyes and laughing at Beth's impressions of things.
Yeah, like a silkworm.
Yeah.
And then proceeding to like not only like subscribe to the podcast, but then watch us on YouTube after a full day of already having us in person.
And comment and interact
and then
as well.
and interacting, like it was just super wonderful.
Yeah,
and
it is nice.
and we do get giddy about it. Like I'm screenshotting it and then sending them to Annie like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, look
Can you
who's
believe it?
Yeah, no, it is really nice. And the main reason that we sort of did the original episode is to get people into forensics and show them an insight of what it's like, because that's what an angle that we've got that other podcasters haven't got, because we've actually worked in the industry or do work in the industry. So I do think that when you get people from colleges or even schools and things like that, that really sort of take it on board and appreciate you coming in to talk to them about it and enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
It is like a little achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the fact that you don't know where you're going to end up, like we're just honest, and I think that's the one thing we've tried to stick to as well. Overcautious and honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bit of a dichotomy, but I think that's how we managed to.
Because there's sometimes after episodes though where we've finished filming and then we've sort of just sat here, haven't we? And it's like a sigh of relief, thinking, "Oh God, like we've been researching that for so long. I'm so glad that." Not that it's over, but we're so glad that it's out and we've done it and we've actually got through the episode. So it does actually take a toll on us as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I had a bit of a wobble a few weeks ago. Like, obviously, we do this in the day job. We hear a lot of anecdotes from people at work. And generally speaking, like our team, you've got to have a bit of a dark sense of humour for some of the stuff that we talk about. Again, there's certain cases that we can resonate with more, or that you kind of attach a relationship to give you more context almost, which we've spoken about in previous episodes. But I was watching, because again, we watch a lot of stuff for research, and I'd not kind of watched any documentaries just for fun for a while. True crime, obviously. And I watched a few in a row, probably 3 or 4. They were all UK based, which I think is what made it more significant.
Yeah.
But I really struggled because of the sentences. So it wasn't the police investigation, it wasn't how that was handled, it wasn't the evidence involved, it wasn't even, well, obviously it was the crimes, but for me, seeing some of the lighter sentences get passed, I did struggle with, and I thought, I can't keep watching it because it is depressing me.
Yeah.
And I understand how that happens and why sentences are shorter than people would often like them to be. I completely understand it, and I think we've got more of an understanding for it because we see the behind the scenes and how difficult it is to get a wealth of evidence in a case. But it did get to me.
And it's even more frustrating because you see the detectives and the police officers and the scientists going through like so much to try and get the evidence into court.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job
Yeah.
And then the sentence comes out and it's like, oh,
I know.
like that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Not only frustrating for the victims' families, but frustrating for the officers that are working the case
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
And I find we'd have to ask this actually if we got anyone from the police on. Like, is it, do you feel sort of, not demotivated, what's the word,
Yeah.
like, afterwards think, oh, well, we've done all that work, you know,
Yeah.
and then we've not got the sentence that we want. Like, how do they cope with that?
A while ago, I did watch a documentary, and it was about bringing one of the most like prolific drug gangs in Manchester down.
Yeah.
And the whole episode, they've been working on this case for like 3.5 years, and then they finally, I think it was like something like 8 houses that they raided at once to try and bring down the like top level. And I think the top 3 they managed to take to trial, and again those top 3 maybe got 5-6 years in prison.
I think I saw this. Was this like the oldish guy
Yeah,
who was the main guy? And I think he got away with a lot of it, didn't he?
Yeah. And again, but then obviously they like did shots of them back in the police station, and they were all like massively celebrating. That was a really good result for them. And I think watching it, you a little bit disappointed, but I think for them,
that
the
was
fact
a good result
that they've managed to get any convictions really based on how dodgy these people are is amazing. And so they do seem to
be happy with
it, but absolutely it'd be really cool to actually talk to someone about it. We are trying, and we do want to do more interviews, definitely in season 2. The only problem that we're having at the minute is basically red tape and admin. We've had a couple of people that have like agreed to it, but then their press office or whatever has put a stopper on it just because it's not like a BBC official. Obviously, I'm saying that with my dealy boppers on.
Just because we're not official, but
so
hard.
we are trying to work on it, but obviously because of the nature of stuff that we're talking about. I mean, in Linda's case, she's now retired, so she can talk about her career as was, but is not still in the role.
We like to get up-to-date information as well and see how it is. So maybe next season we would go with people who have maybe just retired.
Yeah.
Try and see if we can catch them coming out just as they're retiring.
And I think for us as well, if anyone is listening from the press office, we're not interested in like salacious, what's the worst case you've ever worked on?
What's the worst thing you've ever seen?
Yeah.
We don't ask questions like that. It's career focused.
We want to know how you got to where you are, whether or not when you were a kid you had any idea that you were going to go into it, or whether or not you thought you were going to be a vet like I did. Or and then just how you found your way around this really interesting industry.
And I actually quite like how people move around within the field as well. So especially when you talk to police officers, how they start off as one thing and then they can go into a different unit or go into a different area of it. And I'd really love to talk to like dog handlers. And see, you know, if that was something they always wanted to get into. Because I think a lot of people, don't they, when we speak to people in colleges, a lot of people say to me, oh yeah, I want to be a dog handler.
Yes.
And, you know, just like Beth said, if that's what they've always wanted to do. And how it's changed as well over the years. Because if you get someone that's just retired, like their career will have spanned, 30 years?
Yeah.
So how things have changed for them within the police force in that amount of time. And like procedures as well.
I think as well, policing like down south in comparison to like
up
here, because we are more of a sleepy kind of up north, lots of villages, so there aren't as much, as we've covered a lot of cases that are up north. I think kind of on the beat police officers will deal, well, I know they'll deal with a hell of a lot more. And it would be interesting to see the context there, because on our team at work at Think Forensic, we do have a lot of people that are based down south, but they are forensic science based.
Right,
so
not
they're
police
not
based,
policing based. The police officers that we work with are all kind of Manchester and around this area, aren't they? So it would be interesting.
I'd also like to get on someone pathology based.
Yeah.
Which would be really good. And I've got a name in mind. I'm not going to say because I'm not going to jinx us, but I think you know who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there is another one, our famous friend that we've never met that we want to get on as well. And we're not going to jinx it, but we're going to beg her to come on.
Yeah. Do you know what I would like to do as well? I would like to do some more discussing the evidence episodes.
Okay.
I know they've been a little bit... So it's really difficult with stats, and this might be a good time for you to give us some stats. But there are some episodes that we think are going to do amazingly well that don't end up being favourites, and then others that don't do so well. Then others that do really well that we wouldn't have thought so. Discussing the evidence episodes have been a little bit more hit and miss.
Yeah.
But I do think if we do a few of them, they're quite a good, like, interesting perspective, I think.
Yeah.
It is probably a little bit behind the scenes. It's just what evidence we can actually discuss in loads of detail that doesn't give too much away,
and that we're not experts in these fields. But maybe we look at, instead of doing the guest episodes and interview, well, not instead of, but as well as, say if we are doing a discussing the evidence, we try and get, say if we're doing a blood pattern expert,
someone to specifically,
a forensic biologist to come in, and
to
tell us a bit more
the
about
topic
it,
rather than just
I think that would be quite interesting to hear from someone who is actually an expert in that particular area.
Yeah.
So I'll get my stats up.
While you're looking for the stats, I listened to a podcast, again, not true crime related, called I'm Grandmam, which is super good. It's just, again, two best mates that are chatting about life in general, but they've started doing episodes on science, and they've had like a female scientist come on a couple of episodes, and they've just done one that's like science based but specifically talking about aging and anti-aging and all of these people that are now what are they using? They're doing like regeneration of blood. They're having other people, but basically it's super interesting because they don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
but they've got someone on that does.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So our stats, we have, most of our listeners are from the UK, but we have actually got nearly 3,000 listeners in the UK on our episodes.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that? Like 3,000 people.
Oh my God, thank you.
So that means that 3,000 people could be listening to this episode just in the UK. And if you think about 3,000 people in front of you.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Can you imagine if we did like, I mean, I'm really like just imagining now.
Yeah.
But imagine if we like did a live version and like you say, we had 3,000 of those people that listened to us in front of us and we were stood on the stage.
It'd be insane.
Just be crazy.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I can't believe that so many people listen to my voice.
You can't even listen back, can you?
I hate my voice. I know it sounds ironic because we do a podcast. And when I originally agreed to it, I'd not really thought it through, and then thought, oh wait, but I hate my voice, and that's what's going to be.
Yeah, that's what's going to be on it. Our second, what's it called? Second best,
second highest.
Second highest is the US.
Cool.
And then it's Australia. So UK, US, and Australia. We've also got listeners.
How many in Australia? Is it just my one best friend out there?
No, there is nearly 90.
Wow.
So maybe because your friend has downloaded it in Australia, it's put it somewhere on the Australian maybe page.
Yeah.
And we've also hit Ireland, Belgium, Canada, Singapore, New Zealand, Russia, Spain. And they're just our top ones.
See, I'm quite glad that I don't look at the stats, because then when you tell me things like this, it's even more incredible.
And then, there's 4 pages, but I only screenshot the first 2 pages. Germany, Netherlands, UAE.
Wow.
So when I checked UAE, they were Dubai based.
Yeah.
Croatia, Italy, Sweden, Brazil, Egypt, Turkey, and Isle of Man.
Wow.
I know. And it actually gives you the stats, because we're with Acast as a podcast host, and it gives you the stats and it comes up, and I love how this works. So they give you a map on the screen, and then it turns blue when you've got a listener from that area or that country, and then you can fill the map. And like, I'll put this in on the screen for the YouTubers. But our map, I'm not saying it's full, but our map is
cool cross section, I would say.
It's quite good, isn't it?
Amazing.
So a little bit on stats and downloads by location. So
and is that because again, I'm not good at this. So these are people that are listening. So that's irrespective of YouTube. That's separate from.
This is all listeners. So our YouTube, we tend to do better on the podcast side of it.
Yeah.
We do get more views on the podcast, the actual listening podcast, rather than we do on the YouTube episodes.
Well, I don't blame you all. Nobody wants to
I feel like
it.
if you're putting something out as audio, and we're going to sit here and do it anyway, you might as well put it out as a video.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And YouTube to us is just sort of secondary.
Yeah.
And then we use the footage from the video to then get our short clips, which then advertise in turn, don't they? And sort of bring people through to our page. But even talking in terms of stats on TikTok, we've some of our videos got over 10,000 views. So 10,000 people have watched us. And imagine 10,000 people again sat in front of you. Is that like an arena? Or half like the small bit of an arena?
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know how many is in Sheffield Arena, but
I was at the football last night. And if anyone knows anything about me, that's very off-brand.
Yes, very.
But I was at the football last night and there were 23,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, so half a football stadium.
Wow. So...
viewed our TikTok video.
Pretty cool.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it like that?
I mean, it's more crazy for me because you're used to all of the...
I wouldn't say I'm used to it, though.
Big numbers on TikTok.
Yeah, on TikTok, but when I had a viral video on TikTok, and it was a good few years ago now, and I actually got slated.
Well, yeah,
I've had two. I've had two virals, and every single one was horrendous for trolls. Like, I actually nearly shut my TikTok account down both times. I got called fat a million times a day.
It's just mad, isn't it? It's
then there was a video of me and Jay. That one went viral, and that's when the papers contacted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was in Glasgow. When I went, Jay was working away, and I went to go and visit him.
Yeah. Oh,
and
I remember this.
I surprised him, and I did his like surprise reaction when I turned up at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I think that was like got 1.5 million views, and the Glasgow newspaper contacted me because I'd had that much hate from it.
Wow.
Like, I'd not posted anything on TikTok since because I was like,
God, yeah, I don't want this
oh
all
my
the time.
God, like, what am I going to do? They were saying stuff about us because we've got like a bit of an age difference, not like anything ridiculous. People saying stuff about that. They were calling me a bunny boiler for following up there, saying, oh, I bet he's with another woman, don't go in, and all this lot. And it just got out of hand. Then I had another one on TikTok where I was advertising a bodysuit for a brand. So the brand had sent me a shapewear bodysuit.
Yeah.
And I put it on, and then the people on there, like the men, were going, oh, you're even fat with that on. Look how fat you are. And bearing in mind, I were probably a size 10. 12 at a push, if that.
But not.
And they were saying, I got called fat, like fat pig, that I need to go and have lipo, that I were disgusting.
You just
that
can't win, can
I'm
you?
catfishing men. What are you going to do when they take that bodysuit off and all my fat comes out? Honestly, and I couldn't even look at the comments. I had to just stop. So with something like this, I feel like we've been really lucky that we've got really nice followers, we've got really nice listeners, and it's not the sort of podcast where you would comment something like that.
No, you'd like to think not,
You know, if they want to say it in their own head when they watch our videos, fair enough. But just don't tell us.
No. I wouldn't. I don't think I would want to be.
And we did have actually on this one a funny story here. For it was YouTube, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't realise that it was me replying to his comments and not Beth. But he was.
So it was a short clip, and I was referencing basically it was a case study episode, and it was a woman that had given a statement on behalf of her boyfriend, and I basically said, if my boyfriend came home in the middle of the night, and then I was like, oh, sorry,
if I had a boyfriend,
and he basically commented like, yeah, maybe you'd have a boyfriend if you didn't have a shaved head or wear weird clothes or something like that. So I obviously just, like, you get stuff like that all the time. Like, you're always going to get...
Oh, I was furious. I went in on him.
went in on him, yeah.
So it was public as well.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
It was public on our page, and I was like, well, unfortunately for you, you're speaking to the one who's got hair, and I don't like you either. So, you know, like... he's blaming it on your hair. And I was like, what makes you think we want you? Like, seriously. Like, yeah. Oh, I went in on him. And Beth was like, oh my God, like, this is all public.
But that's the only one we've had, really. And I mean, even that's not as bad. If people think I'd get a boyfriend with hair, then fair enough. I don't think I would. It looks awful on me. Hair does not suit me.
Yeah, we should put a picture in of you with your hair that you showed me.
Yeah, just for everyone to laugh at.
We definitely should do it.
But yeah. So, what are you doing for Christmas, seeing as this is technically a Christmas episode?
I've not got a lot planned. I always have a lot planned in the run-up to Christmas. So I've got loads of different groups of friends that all like to go out and have like our Christmas night out.
Yeah.
So I had one at the weekend. That was my friend's birthday. So that was November.
Yeah.
Her birthday was in November, but then we went out.
Yeah, beginning of December.
Beginning of December. And that was just absolute carnage. And it took me 2 days to recover. And I'm only just feeling like back to normal again now. And it was just all the shots. Like when I look back at the videos, it's shots and shots and shots. And we videoed all the shots we did, and there was about 12. So I've got that one out of the way already. We've got our work Christmas party coming up, so we'll be doing that at the weekend.
It's categorically not a Christmas party.
What is it then?
It's a grand opening, thank you event, street party.
At
it just
Christmas.
Happens to be at Christmas time.
Okay, it's our work party.
Yeah.
On Friday. So we've been discussing our outfits and plans for that.
Yeah.
Then I've got a Christmas meal booked in Sheffield. We're going Cozy Club, which is just open in Sheffield. Yeah. And then for actual Christmas, I don't do anything on Christmas Eve, but I think I'm going to see my sister with the boys.
Lovely.
Because obviously now we've got, I don't even know if I've spoke about it on here, but we have little twins in the family. So my sister's just had the 4 months now.
Yeah, that's pretty fresh.
It's our first family with babies, so we're going to be celebrating with them and want to do some maybe Christmas Day Christmas Eve go to Christmas markets or something in the daytime, and me and Holly have some time together as well, and then Christmas Day at my mum and dad's house.
Lovely.
And then I do the evening at Jay's mum and dad's house, so we sort of. I know we've been together 7 years, but we still split our time on Christmas because he's got kids and I still like to go to mum and dad's and see
I'm the same. Yeah. Whenever I've had
boyfriends.
I just sound so depressing. If I've ever had a boyfriend.
No, I thought it sounded like when you said whenever I've had boyfriends, as if you've had multiple.
Loads. Yeah. Oh right. No, I just thought it sounded sad. Like I had a boyfriend. I've not got a boyfriend. But yes, I've always been the same. I'll see you in the evening.
Yeah.
But you have to come to me because Christmas is like a family thing.
Yeah.
And we always do
And I mean, we live together and we see each other every day anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
wake up with him in the morning, I go to mum and dad's for dinner and then come back.
Yeah, yeah.
So my home is with him anyway. So, you know. Your mum and dad's.
Yes, and it's quite a big at ours family Christmas this year. We have quite big traditions.
Okay.
So the tree buying day is a big day in our house.
Do you have a real tree then?
Real tree.
Yeah, my mum and dad do.
This year is the tallest one we've had so far.
Have you got it up already?
It's not up yet, but that's Thursday night.
Okay.
So we've had that day. We each buy a decoration every year, and mine this year is a dinosaur with a little, in fact I might put it on our story, a dinosaur with a little star, and then he's covered in fairy lights.
Oh.
So that's cool. And then we are having all the family around to ours on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve is a bit of a crazy one this year because, again, we tend to do the same thing every Christmas Eve tradition. But I think we're mixing it up this year, which is going to be controversial just for the family. But then I always sneak out to the pub and see the lads that I used to go to school with on Christmas Eve night.
See, I've never done the whole pub thing on Christmas. And I mean, I'm going to say then I don't really drink. And I've just said I drank 12 shots. No, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, you don't really just...
I don't go out and just have a casual drink.
No.
It sounds even worse. I'm a binge drinker. So if I'm going out, I'm absolutely wasted.
Yeah, but you don't go out very often, really.
I don't. And then with Christmas as well, because I'm driving over to mum and dad's, will you be staying over?
Yeah, yeah.
So because I'm coming back, I don't drink on Christmas Day anyway because I'm coming back.
Okay.
And then if I drink Christmas Eve, I'll feel rough to drive over there on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's another good thing.
Yeah.
I don't get hangovers, so I don't have to think about any of that.
Yeah,
but
I do plan it all
this
in.
year, I will have had 3 fake, and when I say fake Christmas days, basically a full-blown Christmas day prior to the actual one. So by the time actual Christmas Day comes, I will have already eaten 3 full Christmas dinners.
Why?
Great question. So
Can I come?
So the first fake Christmas we had was with our really good family friends and one of my best mates. And so their family, so my mum and dad's best mates, and then their 2 kids. Has now gone travelling in Australia. And then Rob's has now gone travelling in somewhere snowy.
Okay.
He's skiing somewhere. And so we did a pre-Christmas day for them because they're
cute.
obviously going to be
travelling. Be there.
But again, we had table presents, which I don't know whether is a thing for other people, but we have table presents. We had race your own little reindeer. It's a whole thing. So that was a whole Christmas
cute.
Day. We decorated Christmassy and everything, got them out of the loft. So we've had that one. Then this weekend come in, I live with a housemate and her son is also going to Australia for Christmas. So we're having a massive, that's going to be a 10 people. So the first one was
Christmas
8
dinner,
people.
yeah.
This is going to be a 10 people. I'm responsible for starters. So that's nerve-wracking.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So that's going to be a whole Christmas Day. We're doing presents and everything then. And then the following weekend, it's fake Christmas Day with my group of mates.
Right.
And one of the girls has got a little baby who isn't, he must be, I'm going to get in trouble for not knowing, 8 months, 9 months now. So he's still really little. So we're doing the whole shebang for him as well.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah. So I'm going to be just so bloated by the end.
So I'm not having
period.
I'm not having a fake Christmas dinner, but for the homeless charity,
Yes.
we on Sunday we have a full day of like sorting all the Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So we have a unit and we have all the donations that come in. So I've got to pick some up today actually, and then I've got to pick some more up on Friday, and then we've already had loads of donations that have come in from a church in Huddersfield.
Yeah, it was massive, that donation, wasn't it?
So many,
Incredible.
like the shoebox appeal sort of thing. And we sort through all those and then we give all the, not just homeless people, but people in need, Christmas presents. And it might be the only Christmas present that they get.
Yeah.
And it is so sad.
Yeah.
But they love it. They've been saying for months now, like, what date are you coming out at Christmas? And it works out 23rd.
Oh, amazing.
When we're out this time. So that'd be really nice. So on Sunday, we all go to the unit, we all get together and we do like a big sort out, make everyone's Christmas presents up, like put them all together, wrap them up.
Yeah.
And we send them out to different charities as well. So sometimes we send them to like any children's charities if we get children's toys.
Yeah.
We've got the domestic abuse partnership that we sometimes send out to. Different houses where women are living and taken into, and then the homeless people, the people in need, we help food banks, and then after that we go to Toby Carvery.
Yeah.
And I don't ever have
If you want to
a Sunday
sponsor us,
lunch.
Toby Carvery.
Yeah, I'll do you a video of my huge piled up plate, which is this
Yeah,
big.
because this is mad, because you never get Sunday dinner, do you?
Yeah, so Jay don't like Sunday dinner, so we never ever have one. And I have this for the charity where we go Toby Carvery, and then I have Christmas dinner on Christmas Day.
And that's it, really.
And then that is it.
We'll have to go out for a big Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
once. Yeah.
But I've found some really nice places in Leeds actually that do
Yeah, I
them
think-
with like a big fondue and like
Yeah.
Yorkshire puddings, and we definitely need to do it because I can't cope with this 2 days a year Yorkshire puddings.
No.
Well, Christmas Day I don't even think we have Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, I know.
can't
Some people
remember.
are funny about. I mean, obviously, we could get into the whole food debate about Christmas dinner, but Yorkshire puddings is an interesting one.
I can't
'Cause
even
we have
remember.
Yorkshire puddings every Sunday. Well, every Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
But Mum didn't used to do Yorkshires on Christmas.
Right. I can't remember if we do or not. I can't remember that far back.
And then obviously there's all of the other debates about what's actual Christmas, like what starter do you have?
What do we have? Prawns or pate?
Yeah.
So we have one or the other, I think.
Prawn cocktail's the classic, isn't it?
It is.
I feel like in England.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it now. It's making my belly rumble.
I know.
I feel like I'm going to go and eat some food now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think we've talked enough about random Christmas? And just to make this perfectly clear, there is absolutely no point to this episode.
In case you weren't sure.
In case you were wondering if we were going to get to any point in it, we're not. We're actually just going to wrap it up and say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But we want to know as well from you when you want us to come back. And please don't say next week. I need at least 2-3 weeks to recover.
Yeah.
Like January would be nice to have, like, obviously a bit of time off for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then a bit of time to get in advance with the
into-
episodes
yeah,
instead
definitely.
of like
Back into
trying
the swing
to
of things.
pile them on.
Yeah, I'm thinking like end of Jan, maybe.
Yeah.
Mid to end of Jan.
Okay.
But you let us know. I'm going to make you do a
We don't want you
selfie
to-
after this, and then we can put a poll on Instagram.
We don't want you to forget us, but we also need a break from this.
Yeah.
In the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
So we'll put something on Insta, but make sure you're following us on all our socials because we will be giving loads of updates about when we're coming back, and I've got loads of short clips to still post, so they will still be coming.
The one short clip that I wish, like, we don't need it now because it was in reference to something that never materialised. But that video that we recorded where I pop up from the back of the sofa
And we had the
I'm
fake
laid
skull.
out, and I'm talking to skulls.
To be fair,
We'll have
if
to
it's still in
clip some of
my
those.
drafts, I might have a look at it because it was on TikTok that way,
because that was just ridiculous. We need to do more ridiculous things.
We do, don't we?
Yeah, in between. Yeah, and this episode's been exciting because it's the first one where I've actually been able to wear shoes. And you think, why?
I'm always bare feet.
Yeah.
Well, not bare feet. I've usually got my slippers on.
But one, we just like to be comfy. But two, I always use my toe to go to the next page of my notes on my laptop.
I'm just thinking of people that are watching this. If there's any foot fetish people, your inbox is going to be full of messages.
Well, I need it if you want to pay me to watch clips of me change pages.
I'll get a point of view I can film from here, and I see it all the time. So on the episode, you might see me just being like, and it's just Beth with a little clawing at the screen,
trying to get to the next page. Don't worry, I've usually got like I'm never like barefoot.
No,
but maybe I will be if there's a
maybe that's what you need to be. And I've just got my iPad here, so I always have my iPad in between because when Beth has her notes on a laptop, it's my eyes aren't very good, and I look and I think, how can she even see that from there? I have to have mine like here, so that's why I'm always scrolling on my iPad. And Beth's like, "You look all professional, like you're reading off like a cue card or something."
Yeah, maybe
like
I'd be good at a teleprompter.
Yeah, teleprompter. I won't be able to see it. I'd be like, "Can you make it a bit bigger for me? Make the font a bit bigger." Yeah.
But yes, right then. Well, you've listened to us just chat
for an hour.
So hopefully you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Like, it is massively unbelievable to think of the amount of countries that we're now reaching, the amount of listeners that we're getting on a regular basis.
If anyone wants to sponsor us.
And yeah, if you fancy, or doing that thing where the buys a coffee or something.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. You've definitely been able to hear that on the microphone. That's crazy.
Now that's it.
Yeah, like we were thinking of doing some sort of maybe Patreon or something in the future.
Yeah.
Where you can get extra episodes, or it's us doing crime related stuff.
Yeah.
In general, but we'll see what our work schedule's like for next year, because the problem is we have all these ideas and we've just not had the time to put them into practice, have we?
There's so much like that would absolutely be amazing for us to do, and we will and should do, but yeah, it's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Having the time free to do it. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you ever so much. Have the most festive period if you're celebrating. If you're from any other country in the world, then I hope you have the most wonderful month or so while we're on a little hiatus. And hopefully you will all remember us by the time we reappear for season 2.
We're not going to let you forget us.
No.
So thank you everyone for listening to season 1 of the podcast, and we will see you in the new year for season 2. Bye.
Take care.
Lovely.